News Radio WSGW and online WSGW.com.
And a mostly sunny good morning to you. We are starting to see a little bit of that sun peek out from behind those clouds. We did have a bit of rain earlier today, but that's starting to clear out now. Jonathan Dent in for Terry Henney this week and next week. He's taking a much-deserved break. Happy Independence Day to you as we move into this weekend. We'll be saying that a few more times, but hopefully we can look at some good weather moving into this holiday weekend. Right now, at the airport, it's 79. In Midland, we're reporting 81 degrees. And here in Saginaw, we're at an even 80. Winds out of the southwest at 7 miles per hour. Falling barometric pressure of 2987. We did see some rain earlier today, but we've got this front pushing through all the way up into Quebec. We're seeing that pass south of us now. As we're going into the afternoon, we'll see more of that rain moving out to the south. Even as far as Indiana or Ohio, we've got highs in the mid-80s today all across the state. Here in Saginaw, we're going to get up to 84 degrees, a little bit nicer than yesterday's 90, but we won't see much of that breeze that we did see yesterday. The rest of those clouds and rain should clear up as we go through the afternoon into the evening. Tonight, we've got lows in the upper 50s, and we'll begin a very nice holiday weekend moving into tomorrow. Saturday and Sunday, we're looking at clear skies with highs up into the mid-80s. Sunday, we might not even make the mid-80s, as our highs will be closer to the high 70s, low 80s in some areas. Looking at Monday, our 4th of July forecast, the UP is expecting a few showers and thunderstorms during the day, but here in central and southern Michigan, we'll see those as we move through the day into the evening and overnight, respectively. We should be able to finish our fireworks, hopefully, before that moves in, but it's certainly going to be something to keep an eye on as we're clearing out of our parks and things. We might be looking up at the sky for some rain starting to fall. Tuesday, we're expecting to see those showers and thunderstorms in the southern parts of the state along Lake Michigan, and we could see that stay here and there a little bit into Wednesday. But then we expect things to dry out significantly for a few days for the later part of next week. Long-range forecast, we're looking at slightly above average temperatures and maybe a little bit more precipitation than average, but I wouldn't place too much stock in that. I think that we're going to see rain here and there, but overall we'll be in for a dry couple of weeks coming up here in July. Today, high of 84, clouds with some showers moving out through the afternoon as we already see most of them clearing out. I'm looking out the window right now and the sun's starting to peek through. Record high on this 1st of July is 103 degrees set back in 1931. Average for this day is 82 degrees. The sun will set this evening at 9:20 and rise tomorrow morning at 5:59. We had a big report out of the USDA come out yesterday. We'll be hearing more on that on this Friday market report. But first, we want to remind you that our weather forecast brought to you by the folks at Nutrien Ag Solutions.
Nutrien Ag Solutions has the local expertise to recommend the corn, soybean, and other seed products that are the best fit for your field. Plus, unparalleled agronomic support with products and services to unlock yield potential and improve crop performance from planting to harvest. Ask about our financing options to help you get more from every acre and lead the field. Visit your local Nutrien Ag Solutions branch or go to nutrienagsolutions.com.
They say there's a secret to growing a great crop. At Nutrien Ag Solutions, they beg to differ. It all starts with a strong foundation, and when it comes to fertilizer, there's no question that Titan XE drives dry fertilizer performance. They've been unlocking the potential in every prill of dry fertilizer with biocatalyst technology for over a decade. Visit lpi.ag/Titan or contact your Nutrien Ag Solutions crop consultant to drive your crop's potential today.
Let's begin this Friday market report by going over to Star of the West, where Cody Harris is standing by. Cody, good morning.
Good morning, Jonathan. How are you doing today?
Good. Trying to stay dry through that night, but should be clearing up here soon.
Mm-hmm.
What are we looking at today?
Well, I wish I could bring some good news to the show today, but we're taking it on the chin here in the grain markets here this morning, Jonathan. Looking at everything the way it sits right now, we got cash wheat, that's down 35, 809 on the white, 759 on the red. New crop wheat's also down 35, 809 on the white, 759 on the red. Cash corn is down 7 at 622. New crop corn is down 11 at 554. And looking over at soybeans, cash soybeans are down 46 at 1565. And new crop soybeans are down 57 at 1336.
All right. How much did that report from yesterday factor into the numbers that we're seeing today? We've been talking a lot about it this week.
Well, definitely the focus coming into this week was on this report yesterday. And as the report came out at noon our time, we saw the market really jump around, especially in the soybean arena. Soybeans actually rallied really sharply, kind of that post-report time frame. But towards the end of the trading session, the November soybeans, they actually ended up 20 cents lower, and that kind of sell-off continues today across the grains. It seemed like the numbers that came out were very close to expectations that traders were expecting. I mean, you look at the corn acres right now, it came in just 400,000 acres from the March intentions at 89.9 million acres. And the June 1 corn stocks are just slightly above expectations at 4.3 billion bushels. Same thing kind of happened with soybeans, 88.3 million acres. What they're projecting for soys, and the June 1 soy stocks is 971 million bushels, just slightly higher than trade expectations. So I think kind of coming to this report, everyone was really expecting maybe this report to be a market mover. And when the numbers actually came out, everyone the market came out with what everyone was expecting. I think that's where you see a little pullback today. There really wasn't any fireworks. So you're seeing a little bit of risk being taken off the board as we go into the holiday weekend, getting a lot of fun liquidation as well. As we're kind of at the end of the quarter, end of the month, that time frame, everything's just kind of all coming to a head here with kind of, I guess, the lackluster report we had yesterday.
Yeah, and what can we expect coming up? Are there any other market influences that we're expecting next week, maybe?
Well, I know we're looking at next week. I know kind of a focus on right now here in Michigan, especially Saginaw Valley. We're getting close to that wheat harvest. I think a lot of markets going to be focused on that. But as we kind of move forward, weather is definitely playing a big factor too. This weather, these kind of, the rain you were talking about kind of picking up through the Corn Belt into, upper Midwest as well. Corn and soys are getting timely rains throughout the country, which is putting some pressure on the market. So definitely looking at that as we kind of look into next week and looking out farther kind of through growing season. Definitely be watching some weather and watching this wheat harvest over the next couple of weeks here.
All right. You have a good weekend and a happy Independence Day, Cody.
You as well, Jonathan.
All right. Cody Harris over at Star of the West. We're going to head over to Oppenheimer with Doug Klein in just a moment. But first, we want to remind you that this Friday market report brought to you by the folks at Schaefer and Beerline. Are you ready to upgrade to a new Ram truck for your family farm? Now is the time to order your new Ram 1500, 2500, or 3500. So come see the folks at Schaefer and Beerline in Frankenmuth, the Great Lakes Bay certified ag dealer. They specialize in all models of new Ram commercial trucks and vans. Ordering now is the way to go. Buy with confidence at Schaefer and Beerline in Frankenmuth since 1852, where family and service sells cars. And by Thumb Bank, serving agriculture for over 125 years, 2 locations in Bay City, also Cass City, Caseville, Pigeon, and Bad Axe. Thumb Bank, where relationships are built on trust. Now let's go over to Oppenheimer, where Doug Klein is standing by to give us some very good news, I'm sure.
Well, I got crude oil in the green, if that's what you were looking for. It's up a couple bucks.
Oh, maybe not.
No, not really. Well, it is 4th of July, so, they really don't want to cut you any deals just yet. Maybe by Wednesday or Thursday next week, they'll cut you some deals. But for now, they want maximum pricing opportunities at the station there. We did see some new lows lately that are kind of interesting. Silver hit a 1-year low. Platinum hit a 1-year low. Copper hit a 1-year low. Dow Chemical hit a 1-year low. So, there's some pressure out there. far as the commodities go, the grains, it seems like some of the speculative money's coming off the table, but it's just a little bit of the speculative money, and it's really not, it's really not a directional change. So that's ugly. This is just a little bit of pain. So stay tuned. Hopefully, it doesn't get much worse than this. But here's your numbers. September corn is 622.5, down 6.25. The December corn 609.5, down 10.25. And September of 23 corn is 589.25, down 8 cents. The August soybeans 1516.5, up down 44 cents. November soybeans 1401, down 57 cents. And November of 23 soybeans 1299.25, down 37.25. September wheat is 851, down 33. December wheat is 868.5, down 32. And July of 23 wheat is 877.25, down 24.5. Crude oil 107.75, up $1.99. Heating oil is $396.34, up 13.25 cents. Gasoline is $363.25, that's up 9.5 cents. Natural gas is $5.79, that's up 40 cents. Over to currencies, the Canadian dollar. U.S. dollar gets you 129.10 at the border, that's up 38 ticks. The dollar gets you 135.12 yen, that's down 61 ticks. The euro is valued at 104.14, down 68 ticks, and the dollar is at 105.33, up 65 ticks. Gold is at 1806.90, down 40 cents. Silver's 1978, down 50 cents. Platinum's at 871, it's down 27.40. And copper is at 361, that's down 10 cents. So like I said, that's another new low. So that's a base metal. It's kind of interesting because that's the industrial base of the world, So
Absolutely.
Something to pay attention to.
Yeah, with us making it halfway through the year here, I've heard all kinds of nasty things. Do you have anything pleasant to say about it, or is it all nasty?
Just there's an old toast. You just clink your glass together and say "Better days" down the hatch.
Yep. Well, Doug, I'm hoping you have some better days this weekend as we celebrate our independence. You have a great weekend.
Thanks. Yep, you too.
All right. We'll be right back. We'll be talking with Stephanie Zelenko from AgriLiquid, so don't go anywhere. Right after these notes.
The versatile Kubota B-Series is a do-it-all tractor. Run powerful attachments that can be easily switched out. It features a hydrostatic transmission and is simple to maintain. The Kubota B-Series. It makes the hard work look easy. Talk to your local Kubota dealer today to schedule a demo. Built upon a solid foundation of cast iron and steel, the Kubota L-Series is part of our under 100 horsepower tractor lineup rated #1 for reliability. They feature powerful Kubota diesel engines and easy operation. The durable Kubota L-Series. Talk to your local Kubota dealer today to schedule a demo. Go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer.
See Kim Weiss at Lingle Equipment, 3001 Sawyer Drive along I-75 at the M81 Carroll exit just south of the Zilwaukee Bridge, Saginaw. Call Kim today at 989-754-7801 or email at k.weiss@lingle1.com.
Let's talk to Stephanie Zelenko now over at AgriLiquid. Stephanie, good morning.
Good morning.
How are we looking outside? I know we got a little bit of a drink last night, and we're preparing for some drier weather. Is that right?
It is. That seems to be, kind of the story we get this time of year, that we have those wet springs and then the water turns off for a while, and we're kind of reached that stage. I'm starting to see, things look a little bit stressed as I drive around the country. Depends upon where you're at, if you've gotten some rain or not over this last week. But we're kind of getting to that critical growth stage on corn that we're going to be starting to approach that reproductive and pollination time. So hopefully we'll get some rain to help us out through that process.
Absolutely. And you mentioned some stress out there. What are some of the larger factors we're looking at when it comes to that?
Our biggest thing we're seeing right now from stresses is just that moisture stress. I'm starting to see some corn start to roll and the beans look a little bit droopy. Beans seem to be holding up a little bit better now. They have a little larger root system that they can reach out a little bit further, and that corn just requires so much more water. So we're starting to see some rolling As far as disease and insect pressure, everything for the most part looks really good right now. And so it's just kind of focusing on getting some moisture and finishing up nitrogen applications if you don't have those done on corn, and then start waiting to address any other in-season applications you might have.
For sure. I was looking at last week's crop report, which is a little bit outdated at this point, and we were mostly good to excellent on corn and soy. Is that more or less what we're expecting going into next week with our weather that we've been having, or are we expecting a change?
I'm thinking things are going to, our crop is pretty much in across the state, and I'm thinking things look good. But as we, progress further without a whole lot of moisture, things may start to slip a little bit. I'm not too concerned yet. Things are holding pretty well, but, if we don't get some significant rainfalls in some parts of the state, we might start, having some limiting yields because of that.
All right. Well, let's hope for some rain, but let's hope it avoids the fireworks times.
Absolutely.
So, you have a great weekend.
Thank you. You too.
All right. Let's head over to Maple Hill Nursery now, where Chuck Cervinsky is standing by for a few of our gardening tips today. Chuck, good morning.
Good morning. We've got a real deficit in rain, as we've been hearing about the last 2-3 weeks, and it's really put some stress on newly planted landscape plants and lawns. And although we don't have any control over the weather, we can do a few things to minimize damage and maintain good vigor in our plantings. It's imperative right now to water on a regular basis, at least every other day, to keep the plants moist. Watering by hand is still going to be the most effective way to water new plantings, as it gets that water directly to the base of the root system, and the chance for evaporation isn't there. A sprinkler system is good, but the only thing that will do is maintain after you are able to water by hand.
We've talked a bit about watering as it comes to rain showers that we've been seeing. And if we see a rain shower come through, are we good for the day, or should we still be looking at watering our lawn or our gardens a little bit?
Not necessarily. A rain shower that comes through for maybe 15 or 20 minutes will get the top of the ground wet, but it really doesn't get down to the base of the plant. And in a lot of cases, that could be 8 to 10 inches down into the ground. So the watering by hand is really a must right now, at least through this year. And then when we get into next year on a new planting, most of the time a sprinkler can take over and keep the plant hydrated.
And we're starting to see those lawns brown out a little bit here as we dry up. Do you have any tips for that?
Yeah, if you've got a brown lawn and it's completely died out, don't get too alarmed. I mean, the roots are still alive. You're going to want to take and water it. A lawn right now needs 1 to 2 inches of water a week in order to maintain itself, an inch at a bare minimum. So if you don't have a sprinkler system, you can at least get a garden hose and put some kind of a sprinkler on it and give the lawn a little bit of water to keep it at least, keep the roots alive anyway.
All right. And if people want some help with their lawn or garden, where can they find you?
They can give us a call here at the store at 989-835-4708. They can go to our website, www.maplehillmidland.com.
All right. Chuck, you have a great Independence Day weekend here.
You as well.
All right. Chuck Cervinsky over at Maple Hill Nursery. We'll be right back with more after these notes.
How do you make the most of your land? Well, it depends who you ask. If you ask the Wrens or the Caggianos, who run with us on John Deere mowers, they'd tell you.
I mow first, then I do all the trimming.
Get as much done in advance as possible.
I jump out of the house, a cup of coffee, and I'm at work.
But the Upshaws, the Hubbards, and the Allens, who work behind the wheel of John Deere compact tractors, would say,
something that's worth doing isn't always easy.
If it's something you want, just go after it and try it.
And most of all,
I make the earth take the shape that I want it to take.
Then there's the Nelsons and the Mosers, who may mention from the seat of their Gator UTVs.
It's important to just take it one day at a time.
You can't be all working up, right?
The most fun we have on the Gator is just ripping around the property.
It's a way of life.
There are millions of ways to make the most of your land. How will you make the most of yours? Nothing runs like a Deere.
Contact one of Tri-County Equipment's 11 locations in Bad Axe, Birch Run, Burton, Caro, Fenton, Lapeer, Marlette, Reese, Rochester Hills, Saginaw, or Sandusky, or visit Tri-County Equipment online at tricountyequipment.com.
Hi, this is Mike Avery, and here's what's coming up this weekend on Outdoor Magazine. First, John Durtka on underwater spearfishing for walleye. Then Ted Harpham of Dart and Archery. In hour number 2, it's the Hex Hatch with Dave Rose. Plus, Nick Green of MUCC has a wrap-up of their annual convention. And in hour number 3, Chris Durson joins us from Rapid River Knives. Listen Saturday mornings at 6 and Sundays at 9 on WSGW.
The cost of a cookout this weekend has gone up when compared to previous years. CJ Miller from Michigan Ag Today has more.
The average cost across the U.S. for a summer cookout for 10 people is $69.68, an increase of 17% from this time last year, according to Farm Bureau. Roger Cryan with Farm Bureau says several factors are causing food prices to skyrocket.
One of them is the general supply chain challenges that we've had as we've recovered from COVID. Another one is the Federal Reserve Bank's expansion of the money supply, which has caused general inflation. It's caused the prices of everything to go up. And another one of the big impacts, especially on food, is the war in Ukraine and the cascading effects from that.
Even though what you're paying at the grocery store for beef, chicken, and pork is a lot higher, it doesn't mean that livestock farmers are reaping the benefits.
Farmers and ranchers in the U.S. are facing rising input costs, and those rising input costs are cutting into the returns they're getting for their product. In a lot of cases, farmers are not even covering their increased costs with these higher prices. Livestock producers in particular are paying higher prices for feed, while their own prices are not that much above last year, if they are at all.
Cryan says the war in Ukraine is a reminder of how important the ag industry is when it comes to enjoying that 4th of July cookout.
For the last 40 years, we've been very lucky. We've seen growth in agricultural productivity. We've seen market reforms in China and the former Soviet Union that unleashed a lot of productive potential. And we've seen improving agricultural technologies. And many things have all contributed to food being more readily available. But this one event is cutting into that. It really serves as a striking lesson of how important it is to support productive agriculture and how important it is not to take our food supply for granted.
You can read more at MichiganAgToday.com.
We'll be right back with more after this.
You ever think about how the best stuff always comes last? Like dessert and championships and weekends. Why do we have to wait so long for the things we love? Is this a conspiracy? At least farmers who use Sharp and herbicide as a harvest aid can skip to the best part of their season. The fastest dry down and desiccation means they get to a smooth harvest sooner. BASF, we create chemistry. Always read and follow label directions.
That'll do it for today's farm program. I hope you have a great Independence Day weekend. It should be pretty good in terms of weather. We might see a few showers on the 4th itself in the evening, but hopefully those come in after we're all done with our festivities today. We're seeing those clouds and showers move out, and they should be cleared up as we move through the night tonight. We've got lows in the upper 50s. And then we move in Saturday and Sunday, highs in the mid-80s and clear skies. Should be some great fireworks viewing weather, some great cookout, some great time with family and friends. Join us at 12:30 for our market update, and then again for our farm final at 6:30. Right now, we're going to conclude our program with the playing of our national anthem.